Y'all are giving me more fuel to put out videos like this. Yeah, let's get into it. As you can see in the thumbnail and the title, I'm gonna explain to you guys how I became a creative director and how you can apply life experiences to your industry and become a creative director. So yeah, man, let's get into it. Becoming a creative director isn't hard. I, for example, have background in photography, videography, and graphic designs, right? And what your role is. So, a creative director, according to Google, are creative leads in advertising agencies or in-house for a marketing department for a company. They work with the creative team to create, plan, and deliver strategic vision for the project. Basically, what that means is we come up with the creative, whether that's an image, a visual, a design, a type of style of a font. However we perceive the creative, then we come up with a strategy. And we implement those two to then put out into the world, whether it's marketing, your song, your artwork, whatever the brands we're working with, projects, work or scope is. We basically come up with a strategic plan on how to market that creatively. Like, you're gonna have a little bit of sauce in there. The next thing that we do as a creative director, we kind of like manage people. Having a group of photographers, videographers all on one accord. I have to basically get the product, get the client, and then see which director, photographer, font, style, colors go well with said subject. And for example, a client can come to you and say, hey, here's my budget. I need a whole rebrand, whether that's Nike, an artist, Way of Tennessee. Figure out that demographic, what they're trying to push you. So that means you have those one-on-one talks with the brand or artist and see how you guys can align the creative with the strategy that's organic to them. That's my main thing. Like, I don't want to feel like nothing's off brand, or I don't want you to feel as the client that nothing's off brand, So moving right along, that's what the basic roles of a creative director is. And so for step 2, I feel like what you have to do is build out your primary skills and your secondary skills. Primary skills in creative direction can be anywhere from photography, styling, graphic designs, videography. In my case, it's photography, graphic designs, videography. I do feel like my secondary asset or my secondary talent would be the graphic designs, because I know how to merge mixed media very well, whether that's me taking the actual cover art for the image to then designing it to go to DSPs, or for brand's sake, come up with a treatment to then now scout location to see where we can shoot it, what time we can shoot it, all of that. It's basically my second skill, because it's a skill in location scouting, because that location can give you that wow factor that you're looking for in the video. You as the creative director have to be one with yourself and just trust the process, know your client, and you should be good. A creative director in the music and the film industry, you want to work on having effective communication skills. And that goes from your emails, text messages, to in-person contacts. You don't want to feel like, or have your client feel like you don't know what you're talking about. You don't necessarily know where you want to take the creative. You're kind of like leaning on them to push ahead the creative. And that's what they hired you for. So they're hiring you. They're looking for you for your specialty. So my advice that I can give, any up and coming creative that watches me or that watches this video, is develop those primary and secondary skills so that you can then be very clear and effective in your communication. You won't feel like you're selling yourself short because you don't know how to do it, and you're telling them you know how to do it, and then you're promising them certain skills or assets that you can't provide. So just be a very effective communicator in the creative and the strategy, and you guys will be set up for success. Moving right along, inspire and motivate, whether that's in your work or in your day-to-day. As a creative director, you kind of have to have a positive morale every time. So, needless to say, to do so, you just want to inspire, man. Come in the office or wherever you work, ready to work with a positive outlook. You know, we're problem solvers at the end of the day, and you gotta believe in the talent, meaning you, in order to inspire and to give off that positive energy. So you can see from the content that I produce, I love to inspire myself, motivate myself and those around me. If you've already been subscribing, you know how I give it up. Going right down the list, I think we're on step 5 is direction and flow. It may sound redundant, creative direction. You may hear all of these 50, 60 times a day. But as a creative director, you gotta understand from start to finish how this process or this project will play out. My photographer get along with my director, with the director mesh well with the artist, or the set project at hand. We don't necessarily just deal with artists, we deal with all types of brands. So you have to have knowledge on the industry, right? A little bit. Know enough to talk about it, right? To offer creative solutions, because then that's going to determine the flow. How well and how fast you guys will work according. Step 6 is merging the creative and the strategy. We kind of talked about it on what the role is as far as a creative director, but we could dive back into it. So when you have the creative and then you have a strategy, that could be implementing certain short format content on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, whatever you name it, that's the strategy. You're gonna hit all DSPs. You put the creative with that. A part of the project at the time, we'd get together and we'd merge the creative with strategy. So short and sweet, make sure that everything is cohesive. With anything that you're doing, you're gonna wanna take your time, whether that's the pre-production, scouting who you wanna work with, because at the end of the day, this is your art. You are putting out there. You are giving a little bit of you to the world. So why not have the right representation? If you can go to sleep at night and say, hey, I was okay with that edit, or hey, I was okay with saying no to that deal, you're able to sleep at night. For those that can't because they rushed a project, they don't feel like they put their best foot forward, that's because you didn't take your time, you didn't believe in it. You didn't have the right oomph going into the project. And you always want to do that. You always want to have that oomph and, know that you can have an opportunity to mess up, right? But then don't dwell on the mistakes, perfect the imperfections to where you can then be like, nah, I took my time. I'm able to put this out in the world and be completely okay with it. So yeah, guys, thanks again for tuning in. Breakdown of what I do, how to become a creative director. Apply now. I'm looking for creative directors to join my production company as we speak. All the creative vibes we're looking for, apply. I'm gonna leave a link down below in the description. So yeah, peace out, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe.